Hello, folks, and this is What If Deku Was a Zombie? The way this is going to work, he is going to die, and he is going to be resurrected. I'm going to make it where it's somewhat his quirk, for reasons, and where it failed at bringing him back to life somewhat, but it did give him abilities to now control the dead. Like, for example, if he brings anybody like from the grave as well, he can use their bodies as like puppets, you know, or infects people, and if they like turn all the way into zombies like him, they also become his puppets, which he can control. Not only that, depending on heroes as well, that they'll become special infected as well. Same thing with people with mutated quirks. Yeah, but I'm gonna do something special with the one for all users and everything. But Deku will lose one for all after a while. Believe me, he will have it for a little bit, but he's gonna lose it afterwards. So for Deku's backstory, everything goes the same to canon, but we're gonna go all the way up to the New Way attack, from the USJ, because that's where the what if is gonna really start. I just wanted to get this stuff out of the way very quickly. But whatever. So let's get into the what if. So we start at Deku's point of view during the USJ attack. And Deku is right now thinking how he's going to survive this. Asui and Mineta's quirks, he's thinking how to put them together and use them to get off the boat in canon, because everything goes almost the same with tiny differences. So when they're trying to escape the boat, Deku gets scratched up on the leg very badly, so he's bleeding from one of his legs, and a piece of his costume, which in this timeline is still his original costume, like the newer version this time, because Deku modified it more and he got it quicker. So yeah, but this time, like, the boots from it have been ripped, so he has like half of his foot sticking out and some of it has been ripped. So when they get to land, Deku's thinking, man, this guy looks very crazy, because he's looking at Shigaraki. He's thinking he looks crazy. Like, literally, if you look at Shigaraki, he does look crazy, doesn't he? But anyway, and that's when Shigaraki, doing his whole speech, going like, why is All Might not here and everything, like in canon. But he does the similar thing where he's about to attack Asui, because he notices the students there and, says, hey, let's kill some students for some reason, to send a message. So when he does it, Deku comes in with his smash and tries to, hit Shigaraki, but the Nomu comes in and blocks the hit, absorbing the blast. And Deku looks up and sees the Nomu, and the Nomu just punches Deku and does like a slam dunk with him. And that's when All Might arrives, finally. Seeing this happening to Deku makes All Might much mad. And let's get back to Deku's point of view right there when that happened. Deku's bleeding out. He's almost dead practically, and he's thinking, no, I can't die here. I have to help. I can't die yet, and even though he has now like ruptured like everything, broken rib cage, heart, like almost punctured. Literally, like, all his lower stomach has just ruptured, and same thing with like anything else. So yeah, Deku's looking practically almost like this, but less gray and less zombified. Like he's gonna look like that eventually, but not now. So he gets back up, even though he has like these wounds that he should not be getting up from. You know, like these should have killed him, and he still got back up, and he rushes in trying to help All Might during the fight, which eventually he does help a little bit, but All Might still does his thing in canon, punching the Nomu so many times until it goes flying out of the USJ. The League of Villains have to retreat because the rest of the pro heroes show up finally, and before, and this is Deku's point of view again. Deku is like, yes, finally, they're here. Coughing up blood too. Now everyone is safe, and Deku passes out, which All Might comes over and catches Deku, and he wakes up Deku for a little bit, and Deku's like, All Might, like, you know, they hold, like, you know, when you're holding a dying person's hand, it's like that practically. Like All Might's holding Deku's hand like that, and Deku says, All Might, I don't think I'm gonna make it. And he's like, still coughing up blood and stuff, and he's like, take back your quirk. There's no way I'm going to survive this. And All Might's like, no, young Midoriya. I can still save you. Don't. And right when he says that, Midoriya dies in All Might's hands as well. All Might's like, no, and he goes, no, you know, starts crying too, and he's like, no, and Deku's just lifeless body's there in All Might's hands, and he's like, All Might has been hit hard with this. He has now felt massive sorrow, Deku, when he died, his successor, you know, dying right there and then. Which All Might did take back One for All, but not as fast. It's gonna start coming back to him the same way how it was leaving him, you know, slowly. So Deku's body will slowly lose One for All. Just quick explanation. Let's continue. So practically after that, the police arrive with ambulances and stuff, and they take Deku's dead body away. And they had to tell Inko too, and she felt much more sorrow than All Might, like a lot more, and such, since her, you know, her baby, her child literally died. So yeah, who wouldn't, to be honest? But yeah, and Class 1A have put like after that day, like everyone put flowers on Midoriya's desk, and even Bakugo himself did too. And you might be saying, wait, Bakugo wouldn't do. He would, for the fact being, because he would think he has failed. He would think that it's all his fault for the reason why Deku died. So either way, for like, there's a reason. Like it's because, you know, his like complex, you know, his superior complex would make him blame himself. So either way. So yeah. So everyone has feel massive sorrow for Deku, you know, like, because since he died, and even Uraraka felt much more sorrow than everyone else, because, you know, she still had that crush on him. She still liked him. So yeah. Anyway, besides that, that's when things start to happen. So, back at Deku's mind-type scape, where he's in right now, and when Deku's in his mindscape and everything and stuff, something changes a lot. He's in a weird void. He knows One for All is gone, but he doesn't even know where he is. So he's thinking, am I in One for All or am I in something else, you know? Until someone walks up, says, "Hey kid, my name is Cadaver. Well, it's better if you turn around and see why I'm named that way." Deku turns around and he just sees a walking corpse wearing some interesting gear with a weird symbol on one of his shoulders. But he pays no mind to it and he asks, "Where am I? What are you and why am I here?" And Cadaver responds with, "Well, for now, I'm your quirk. Yeah, it looks like I'm not really talking, but we're in your brain, so mental, talking, whatever. I don't really care. You have died. I'm here to bring you back. Hopefully this time around it's successfully. If not, you will become like me, a cadaver, a corpse. A corpse. Just letting you know, practically becoming a zombie. But when you do come back to life, anytime when you sleep or choose to rest for a period of time, you'll be able to talk to me again and to know anything about this quirk of yours." And Deku's like, "Wait, so this is my quirk bringing me back?" And Cadaver says yes. Deku's like, "So I had a quirk this whole time?" Cadaver responds with yes. And he asks, "So why did it not do anything?" And Cadaver responds, "Well, you had to die for it to activate, which you didn't die until that weird creature thing punched you to death. Literally you died in your hero's hands. Whatever, I don't care. My job here is to only help you, and that's it." So Deku eventually, after a while, wakes up in his coffin because they had a whole funeral for him and everything. And when he comes out of the ground, before he comes out of the ground, he's thinking, "So they buried me, huh? Wonder." And he looks down and he sees he's still in his hero costume. He's like, "Huh. They knew me very well." So Deku crawls out of his grave, and because of Cadaver, his body has decayed to the point where he literally looks like a zombie. Literally looks like a zombie now. And so Deku doesn't know. But a piece of him falls on another grave right next to him. This grave being one of the past users, being All Might's teacher, Shimura. Yep, I had to throw her in here. I kind of wanted to, because with Shimura's help, this is going to make it much easier to do stuff. So yeah. And so when Deku's walking away, he feels a weird disturbance, Like he just stops for a minute and goes like, "Oh, what is that?" Feeling that. He doesn't really say it out loud since, he's, again, doesn't have the ability to talk yet. He needs to upgrade. He needs to get his body back to what he needs it to be so he can talk again. So he hears something crawl on the ground as well, and he turns around and he sees Shimura, well, the zombie version at least, and he's like, "Oh, Shimura, aren't you? Wait a minute." And he's thinking, "Was this my quirk? Did I bring her back as well?" And since it was Deku's blood, and Deku still has the embers of One for All, Nana Shimura is somewhat back, so All Might also felt that disturbance, but in a different way. He didn't really feel like like how Deku does. Like he felt it in like a zombie way. He's feeling it like one for all way. So when All Might felt that, it's like he feels like someone he knows has been brought back, but he doesn't know who. He doesn't know who, since there's a lot of one for all users and all that. So for right now, he ain't gonna know who it is. But wait until you see. And this is when he was also, yeah, All Might felt it when he was like at the sports festival, because months have passed after Deku has died. So yeah, this is when the sports festival is happening. So Deku, this is when he was brought back to life. And Deku's walking around after this, and he sees Nana, brought back to life as well. And she just follows him, because she's somewhat back to normal, somewhat not. Kind of like a mixture where it's like, where it's like somewhat, she has like the dog instincts. When a dog protects their owner and stuff? She has that to Deku, But she does listen to him like any other zombie puppet will do. So, So, Deku is just walking with with All Might's mentor practically, and he's thinking. So he said I can like rest and find out like anything more of my quirk. So they leave the cemetery and find somewhere where they can so they can let Deku rest. During this, a few thugs try to mug Deku, and every time when they try, like when they tried, Nana Shimura came in like a protective way and just beat them up. And she was about to affect them too, but like Deku stopped her. He was like, wait, whoa, stop, and she just stopped in her tracks, stop moving. And he said, and she walked back to him and like was kind of like in a dog way, just nodding her head, okay, She was, but like he grabs her by the head and says, no biting people, and she just agrees, just nods with agreement. So practically, she has some things off, but some things more smart. So when they find a building, she opens the door, which Deku is somewhat surprised, since he thought she was gonna be like somewhat more brain dead, not able to open doors, use machines or anything, because zombies usually break down doors. But she's more smart because one for all. So, well, the embers, but whatever. So Deku literally like finds a couch, lays down, and Cadaver is there. He's just standing, there, and he turns around and sees Deku back in his mindscape. There, Deku found a place to rest. So Deku is asking, so Cadaver, what's the rest of my abilities? And Cadaver explains that Deku has Puppet, where it's literally where he can control any zombie he wants, or like give them follow orders to a point, but like they will ignore it if Deku gets too insane, because the more Deku doesn't infect, the more he's going to get insane. But luckily, since Nana Shimura is there, it's much lower now, by like 20%, which is not a lot. Like he needs it to go to 100% down, so he will never go insane. But and also that Deku, he also explains that Deku will also start feeling hunger, and not the sense of eating, but like the sense where if he doesn't infect people, he just starts feeling very hungry until he does. Another one of his abilities is hive mind type thing, so he can see anything of the other zombies. Like, if the other zombies are seeing humans, he will know as well. If another zombie used to know how to use a gun, then he will know. And he can share that information with any other zombies if the need is be, if Deku wants to. And he also explains that Deku can also make special infected, which what he somewhat did to Nana Shimura. And Deku's like, wait, I did that to her? And he's like, yeah, why do you think she's been like more protective role around you? Yeah, she knows you were one of the users in One for All. She still is somewhat there, so yeah. And Deku's like, huh, very neat. But I don't want to infect anybody. And Cadaver's like, you have to. There's no choice. I literally had to as well at some point, but now I became your quirk, so whatever. It's better if you do, end people before they feel pain. That's what I say, at least. But whatever. We're different. I don't care. So Deku wakes back up, and Zombie Nana Shimura practically was just like, walking around, making sure no one attacks him. And I'm trying to think. Hold on, give me 1 second, folks. Okay, now I remembered. So they were walking out, and the sports festival, the whole time while they were doing it, sports festival was going on, but Class 1A was feeling more like, because they were feeling more like, hey, they gotta do this for Deku, like even Uraraka was like, okay, I gotta be a hero for Deku, since, he died very young. So practically, Deku, like, death has affected Class 1A a lot. So now they're taking this hero stuff much more seriously. And even Mr. Aizawa has noticed the difference. He has been saddened for Deku's death, but over, like, before the sports festival, Mr. Aizawa and sometimes All Might would visit Deku's grave and like just talk for a little bit, like say like how everyone's doing, and saying that hopefully he stays resting in peace, But they don't know he came back to life during the sports festival stuff. So when the sports festival ends, they go Mr. Aizawa and All Might again with like to go see Deku's grave, and Deku's grave literally has a giant hole in it. It looks like someone has came out, and not only his, All Might's teacher, and All Might notices, and he's like, someone like, and they don't know what to think. Like, did someone come here and just dig up their graves and like steal their bodies, or like, or did they like what they do? Like, did they like dishonor their graves? And All Might thinks it's all for one, just to mess with All Might. But no, like they literally came out of the grave and walked out themselves. Kind of funny, huh? But either way, so when the sports festival ends, the Hosu attack happens, and Deku's there and stuff. But in this timeline, Ingenium didn't get attacked from Stain until later. So during the Hosu attack, Ingenium was like attacked at this point. And so Deku has got insane at this point. All right. So Zombie Nana Shimura and him have went crazy during this attack. He started infecting people while most of the heroes were busy dealing. Well, almost all the heroes, but were dealing with the Nomus. And Deku is slowly starting to get back to his senses, but he's still infecting a lot of people. And the people who become infected or die and become zombies are starting to affect more people. So yeah, they were getting infected as well, slowly starting to spread. But Deku has somewhat eventually got back to his senses and commanded all the other zombies to attack the Nomus. And he sees in the what's it called? Whatever. He sees Stain about to kill Ingenium until Deku rushes in to block the blow, where it stabs through Deku and pierces Ingenium's armor, not enough to kill him, but enough where it allows something to go in, like his blood stream. So Deku's blood, since it leaks out and goes into Ingenium and stuff and affects him. As well as that, also, Stain practically jumps back with the sword, thinking, "Oh, he died," since it literally went through his chest where his heart was. But no, it did not kill Deku. Deku literally just stands there and there was a few zombies around him, so when he got stabbed, the zombies got mad, So they all charged at Stain, which Stain's confused. He's like, "What the?" And so he stabs more of them and licks the blood, which it doesn't really immobilize them, since, their heart has stopped and their blood is no longer pumping. So it doesn't really affect them. Or Deku. But doing this made Stain got infected himself. So Stain is now infected with the virus. So Stain escapes because, there's no other choice. He's being too overwhelmed, and so he chose to escape, which Deku with his other zombies leave. Which zombie Nana Shimura shows up and kind of worries over Deku in in a weird, interesting way, making sure his head didn't get pierced, looking all around his head, because if Deku gets hit in the head, he's dead, and then his control goes away over every zombie, which that would be bad for everybody involved. But either way, Nana Shimura does a little calm and relax, going, kind of like that, in a zombie way, since he didn't get hit in the head. So they leave with these zombie people, and Deku is slowly thinking eventually he's going to lose control and start infecting too many people to be controlled, maybe. That's what he thinks, but no, he can control all of them. He just doesn't know that. But with that, he also infected some Nomus, and the one where Endeavor deals with, he Nana Shimura affect that one, and so he has it now. He has several different Nomus that are infected, even the flying one, which is cool. So Deku practically now has somewhat, brutes in his zombies. So now Deku is gonna start the zombie apocalypse. But before he does, let's cut back to Stain and Ingenium. So Stain is starting to feel weird, but because of his so intense training, he doesn't really notice it. So his infection is going a little bit much slower than normal. But for Ingenium, because regularly, if you're still alive and you get infected with Deku, or any of his zombies, it takes up to 3 days to infect you. So, just letting you know. So, Ingenium's in the hospital, and for Stain, by the way, just letting you know, for him it takes 4 days, because, his intense training, so yeah, I assume it would take longer. So, But, so, one day in Ingenium's hospital room, Ida shows up, and he says, he's talking to his brother, practically, and he has to wear a mask around him. doesn't know why, but he does. Second day, Ida brings something for his brother, and his brother accepts it. You know, it's like something's nice for his brother. On the third day, Ingenium is in a critical condition right now. He's in critical condition, like literally. Like he's like his body's convulsing. The doctors are trying to help him as much as possible, and he dies. His heart has stopped. He dies. Which Ida's mom calls him, tells him this, which that destroys Ida, knowing that his brother died, which now he wishes like more, which means zombie Ingenium, when he wakes back up, they were about to take him to the morgue and stuff, and so he just grabs one of the doctors and infects them. And Deku is feeling this, by the way. He's feeling this. So he did get infected with me. Wow. So Deku, at this moment, releases the zombie apocalypse. You know, he can no longer control himself to not do it. So at this point, now he's released them all. So the police are trying to fight against these people because they think, oh, they're cannibals or something, you know? Or they think, oh, they're zombies. So they're trying to fight against them. And Deku has released some of the zombie versions of Nomus in different parts of Japan with some zombies and some interesting ones. So practically during this whole situation, some members from different areas get also infected. Like twice from the League of Villains gets infected with the zombie virus. He doesn't die off the bat, but now he has 3 days to live. But not only him. President Mike also got infected. But he got back to UA, but he's still got infected. So Deku is now released this whole zombie apocalypse. Where he is, that's where the most zombies are. But in other areas of Japan, it's like many, but not a lot where Deku is. In Zombie Nanashimura is that. So All Might's like trying to stop these people, like these things. And since they're proven to not be alive, he's using like brute force in this point. You know, he's fighting hard and stuff. You know, trying to save people, regular people, not zombies, to, you know, save them before they get infected with this weird virus. And Deku is seeing this, and most of the time, some of the zombies don't even try to scratch All Might. They just more like try to beat him up to stop him. Like literally, sometimes they'll aim for his wound. You know, like his wound that he got. So like they sometimes try to aim for that, and All Might's noticing this and wondering how are these things knowing about his weakness, like his weak spot. So practically, All Might has been just fighting these things, trying to save more civilians as much as possible. But he finally sees him, Deku. Not only him, Nanashimura as well. Practically, All Might stops for a minute and looks in shock, seeing his old mentor and Deku as these abominations, as these walking zombies that All Might can only think. As these zombies. So he's thinking, what did All For One do? Like he's thinking, why would All For One do this? That's what he's thinking. But I'm gonna have to leave it off here. So you know what? I'm gonna add this little tiny bit. And during in One For All, there is a. Nah, I'm just gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it off here. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and comment down below what else should I add to this, or any ideas, or any other what ifs you think I should make. I know this one took a while, and I know it's probably late of my usual schedule, but I was kind of distracted lately, and I kind of wanted to take a break of making videos again, just for a little bit. But I promise I will come back in full force and try to make more videos when I can. So, That's all there is to say, and peace forever.